This Mishka Cake recipe has moist and delicious layers. In a step-by-step tutorial, I show you how to create this delicious Mishka cake in no time. Well, it takes a little time, but it is a very easy way how I show you to do it. And then you can enjoy this authentic taste of Mishka cake, or translated teddy bear layer cake, because it's brown like a teddy bear and it is so moist and delicious. It's just yummy. Well, welcome back to our simple home. For the layers, I start with 240 grams of sugar. I crack open 2 eggs and add them to the sugar. Then I add 250 grams of butter. My butter is soft. I mix it very well to have a nice and creamy consistency, like this one here. I add a pinch of salt, 2 tablespoons of baking cocoa. If your cocoa is very dark, I would add only 1 tablespoon, but with this light cocoa, I could add 2 tablespoons of cocoa. So now I add 450 grams of flour and 1 tablespoon of baking powder. I mix everything very well to have a nice dough. So this is how my dough looks like. I preheat the oven to 380 degrees Fahrenheit. I transfer some dough over to my parchment paper that fits my baking sheet, and I press it down and then I roll it out, and just big enough so it fits my springform cake pan, like the round shape. And I do about 5 or 6 layers. This time I made 6 layers out of it. So if you want, you can divide the cake dough right away into 6 parts and then roll them out. And I always have some leftovers, and that's where the crumbs come from afterwards. I will show you. So just keep watching, I will show you how I make it. So this is how I roll it out. I always use a plastic wrapping foil on top so it doesn't stick to my rolling pin, and it works so beautiful and so easy. So here's my springform ring. I just press it on and then take off the wrapping foil and then remove the leftovers. The dough is very soft. If you want a harder dough, you can put the dough first in the fridge for half an hour or so. But I like it soft, then it's so easy to roll out. You have to make sure not to roll it too thin, that it is not see-through. Like, make sure it's thick enough, but not too thick also. Here you can see how I remove all the leftovers. Once I'm all done, I transfer the cake layer over to my baking sheet. I bake the cake layers for about 10 minutes. Meanwhile, I transfer the next dough over to my parchment paper and then press it down and transfer the foil on top of it, and then I roll it out. I take the springform ring and make sure it fits on top, press it down, and then I have the cut there, and then I remove the leftover dough. And this is how it looks. Thick enough, but not too thick. And I bake it for 10 minutes. So this is my last and sixth dough. So I press on the springform ring and make the cut there. I remove the wrapping foil, and then I have a parchment paper for the leftovers. So I remove all the leftovers from the last cake, transfer them over to the other parchment paper. Now I press it on to the parchment paper. It doesn't have to have a shape or something. It just needs to be as flat as the other layers, so it bakes about the same. Now I bake them also for 10 minutes, and then all of them are done. Once the layers are all cooled off, I start with the cream. I start with 400 grams of sour cream. I add it into my mixer. I add 240 grams of sugar, 1 pack of vanilla sugar, and 200 grams of whipping cream. Now I whip it up for about 5 minutes or so. I make sure it's nice and creamy and a little bit of fluffy in it too. So here are all my layers. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and the leftover layer. So I transfer all the layers over to my other plate, and then I start with the first one. I add some cream. You can see it's not thick, it's a little runny, but also not too runny, so I can spread it easily on my layer. If you enjoyed my video so far, please like, subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet, and share my videos with others. That helps my channel to grow, and it motivates me so much that I like to do more videos, and thank you so much. Once I'm done with the first layer, I transfer over a second layer. Then I transfer some of the cream over to my second layer. I spread it around. I add my third layer and add also some cream on top of it, and that is how I do it with all 6 layers. Here I add my last layer. I add the rest of the cream on top of it and spread it around. Now I start with the crumbs. I just use a Ziploc bag and transfer my layer leftover layer into this Ziploc bag and then zip it tight. Make sure nothing is coming out there. And then I just crumble it down to make sure they're all fine. Like I use a rolling pin for that and just make it fine. So the crumbs are fine enough. So I open back up the Ziploc bag. So I transfer all the crumbs over to my cake. I spread them or sprinkle them evenly around onto my cake, and yeah, make sure the Mishka cake looks great. Once I'm all done, I transfer the cake over into a closed box or cake box and close it and let it stand overnight. Mine stands at room temperature. If it's not too hot, it will work at room temperature. If it's too hot, I don't know, it might go bad or not. Otherwise, just put it in the fridge overnight. So mine is all done. There, I cut it and show you the inside. I made the cake to go somewhere and take it with me, so I wasn't sure if I could show you how I take off a bite of the cake. So I just show you how it looks inside and then go from there, see if I have one piece left over or not. We'll see. Here I show you a piece of the cake from the inside. It looks so delicious, and it is so delicious. I love this cake. So it has many layers, 6 layers actually, and the cream, you can see it in between there. It is very soft and it's very good. So we are back and we have one piece of cake left actually. So we are so lucky. We can show you how we take a bite of the last piece of the cake. So it was so good. It was so gone so fast. So here I take one little bite of the cake. You can see it very close up. So delicious. Yum, I love it. So I have to try it again. There you go. Here. Look at the layers. So delicious. Thank you so much for watching. Maybe you want to watch this video next, or maybe this playlist. See you there. Bye.